Well, hello everyone, I'm Postmaster Radio and it's time to bring on the funny! You're listening to Ujokes Weekly, the official podcast highlighting Jonathan Mangum's virtual comedy show Ujokes, where comedians compete for the best joke, plus you guys and gals on YouTube and Facebook battle it out as well. It is comedy gold at your fingertips. Now last week's two respective Ujokes shows, a pretty good batch if you ask me. Filling in for Helen Hong, who was last minute revealed to be unable to play because of an audition. Atsuko Okatsuka played against J. Keith Van Straten. That was one show. And then the other show, Leland Bowden and Wilder Smith competed in another show. And guys, I gotta admit, this was a pretty good batch of comedians from last week. Atsuko did a really good job, and Leland and Wilder, for both of them, apparently Jonathan had not met either of them prior to that episode of Ujokes, but nevertheless, they did a really good job, and you'll find out why in just a minute. But first, a quick reminder, if you missed last week's Ujokes podcast, catch up now via the link in the description, and if you have a little bit of free time, every Tuesday and Friday night, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern, play along live on Ujokes via the YouTube channel, available to you via the link in the description, or you can also play along on Facebook. But right now, it's time to get started with the Ujokes Top 5 Countdown, and keep listening for the Ujokes Awards and Ujokes Extras soon to come. For now, spot number 5 on the old countdown is for Atsuko, and she had a really good joke for the Caption This game. Caption This. Now, she had to come up with the best possible caption based on the pick of a doctor who I don't even know what the heck that doctor is doing to the patient. I don't ask me. There's just no clear answer to that. What I can tell you, though, is that Atsuko had the winning joke for this game, and to be honest, it's not hard to understand why.
This is just a normal day at the hospital. Oh, am I right?
I mean, to be fair, because some of you probably didn't see the pic, if you missed that Ujokes show, all the action definitely was up in the pits. So, yeah. Anyway, great joke from Atsuko, and congrats on the win. For the 4th spot on the countdown, you know how every now and then there are some playings of certain Ujokes games where all 3 of the jokes are pretty good? Well, this is one of those cases. Going to Leland and Wilder's show for a game of What Is This a Commercial For? Now, the picture for this game showed a whining berry on a tree. I did kind of like Wilder's joke, although not one of my personal favorites from the night.
Definitely laxatives.
Nah. But in the end, these 2 jokes were, tough competition. First, from Leland.
It is a commercial for wine for complainers because it's a wine that whines, well, on the vine.
Wine on the vine. Wine for complainers. I like that.
And to be honest, I thought that joke would be the winning one, but as it turns out, sometimes callbacks are the way to secure the win, because earlier in the show, there was a game of 7-word thoughts, and we'll actually come back to this game in a few minutes, but the 7-word thoughts game involved a joke with the milk brand Ujokes. And someone on Facebook, Carl Pitney, fast forwarding now to the whining berry, cryberry cereal for the commercial, great with Ujokes. So congrats, Carl Pitney. That was a pretty good callback if you ask me. And yeah, great joke. Congrats on the win. Just well done overall. For the 3rd spot on the countdown, we go to J. Keith Van Straten for a game of What's It Mean? Where based on the totally fake, not at all, but could be real word, you have to come up with the best definition possible. Now, the word was Swazz. And not that you need the spelling of the word, but you may know where I'm going with this. S-W-A-Z-Z, Swazz. And if you like a little bit of swing music and a little bit of jazz music, then you will fall in love with J. Keith's joke.
Well, listen up, Daddy-O, because it ain't exactly swing and it ain't exactly jazz, but you put it together and you got yourself some swazz. Swazz. I like it.
And again, winning joke. That joke came out on top for that game. It'll do it sometimes. The winning jokes will usually be the best ones. So congrats, J. Keith. By the way, you don't know any Swazz clubs open despite the pandemic, do you? I kid, of course, but it would be an interesting music style. Swing and jazz combined, Swazz. It's like a joke, but in theory, maybe a future possibility for 2021? Okay, well anyway, moving on. Remember that 7-word thoughts game that we mentioned with the Ujokes? Well, we're going to go back to that now for the second spot on the countdown. As I mentioned, that is from 7-word thoughts. Wilder Smith and the others had to figure out exactly what the hell was going on in that scene, because with regards to Majilk Milk, the lady was spitting milk at a guy in a pretty interesting way, sort of like a demonic thing, and I'll touch base on that in a second. Just remember though, before we continue, if you do have a chance to play live and this game comes up, 7-word thoughts, I mean, these games are kind of self-explanatory, but whatever joke you have, it has to be in 7 words exactly, no more, no less, henceforth 7-word thoughts. And I gotta admit, Wilder's joke, again on the demonic side of things, but nevertheless, a 100% hilarious joke at that.
I should have called an exorcist yesterday.
Nice.
I mean, seriously, exorcist vibes right off the bat. Hello. And finally, the number 1 spot on the countdown. Believe it or not, it does not go to Atsuko, not to Jake Keith, or Wilder Smith, or Leland Bowden, but it goes to you guys and gals, the Ujokes audience. Yes, you guys had my favorite joke from the week, possibly because I'm extremely jealous I did not come up with it sooner. This is from a game of Name the Movie, going back to Atsuko and Jay Keith's show, for the picture of a guy who appears to be mowing the lawn, and by lawn, I mean a guy's facial hair. No joke right there. Shout out to Randy Ferguson for his joke, Shaving Private Ryan. Again, I'm so jealous I did not come up with that joke sooner. It was right on the tip of my tongue when I was playing live. How that joke slipped by me, I have no idea, but congratulations, Randy. You ultimately had my favorite joke from last week's Ujokes shows. Awesome! And just like that, we go from the top 5 countdown to the Ujokes Awards, which, in case you've never heard of this mini award show before, it is pretty much like the Oscars, but far, far shorter. Now, for Comedian of the Week, we have a tie between Wilder Smith, I loved her demonic joke from 7-word thoughts, and also, no denying that Swazz magic from J. Keith Van Straten from What's It Mean, and although Wilder beat out J. Keith in the countdown, I gotta admit, both jokes are too good for me to, force them to duke it out with only one winner. So they both have the honor of Comedian of the Week. Awesome. Next up, we have Game of the Week, but you know what? This one is going to go to Name the Movie with the whole Shaving Private Ryan business, because in addition to Randy Ferguson, I feel like the jokes in that game were pretty good as well, Randy's especially, but still. And while we are still on that game, quick shout out again to Randy, because not only do you have my favorite joke from last week's batch of Ujokes shows, but you have also won the Audience Award. Yes, you have the best joke from the YouTube chat, and therefore by extension the entire Ujokes audience, so congrats. But we're still not done talking about this awesome game, because Jonathan had a bit of a funny joke to contribute while the YouTube and Facebook audiences were voting. And that actually leads us quite nicely to Manga Moment, because this is Jonathan's show after all. We gotta have something in honor of the creator of this fantastically funny virtual comedy show. But anyway, here's Jonathan's joke, and a really good one at that, to be honest.
This is actually, it's a combination of 2 real movies. There Will Be Blood and Face Off. It's what you call a stubble feature.
Yeah, just a whole setup of the thing, but I especially like stubble feature. It's just like, boom, I got a good one, but I can't win any points, damn it, but still funny joke. And I guess with that being said, that's it for the Ujokes Awards. By the way, amazing joke from the always funny Jonathan Mangum. And yeah, that is how great the Name the Movie game with the whole, facial hair pick was. Yeah, it was that great. But before we officially end the podcast, we do have a couple of extra moments that I would like to mention from Leland and Wilder's show. It's time for Ujokes Extras. So what do we have? First, from a game of Yoga to Be Crazy, where based on the pic shown, you have to come up with a yoga pose. This joke, I do not believe was the winning joke, but a funny one nonetheless. Shout out to Daniel Paul Crow from the YouTube chat Finding my inner Nemo was the joke for the picture of a meditating scuba diver underwater. A great joke from DPC. The next extra Ujokes joke that I want to mention goes to Leelon for a different game of Name the Movie. This is at the end with the picture of the mechanical frog/tank thingy.
I think this movie is from the Transformers franchise, but it's Toadformers, more than meets the flies.
Yes!
Again, not the winning joke, but nevertheless a funny one at that. And also, this last extra is technically not a joke, but I do want to give a bonus shout out to Kent Madoc. Kent was last show's best for that particular Ujoke show, and he was invited to play along live against Leelon and Wilder, but I'm not even going to talk about his jokes, although they were pretty good. So, at the start of his appearance, Kent's audio was not working properly, and then later he got it fixed, blah, 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 but that's not the end of the story, because apparently Kent is an opera singer, and not only does his opera wow me, and it probably wowed a lot of you guys as well, but it apparently also enables the power to mute his own audio. And I kid you not, go back to that Ujoke show, skip to the end for the opera shenanigans, near end anyway, during last show's best. But my point is, you are gonna die with laughter once you see Kent's opera skills and once you see that his audio just dies out while he's in the middle of opera singing. I almost thought that he was even playing a joke on the entire Ujokes audience, because if it were me, I would probably do the singing, but then I'd stop, and then, if it makes sense, keep my mouth open as if it looked like I was still singing, and then I would probably fool them into being like, oh, damn, the opera singing just cut out the thing. I actually kind of thought he was doing that kind of a joke there, which I'm like, oh, no, the audio really died out again. So, for any of you listening that want to be on Ujokes, if you are an opera singer, watch out. But seriously, funny moment from Kent. Love that little operatic bonus, by the way. And that's all the time we have for this week's Ujokes podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure you play along on Ujokes as soon as you possibly can. The next show is Tuesday, September 29th. You know the drill. 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and Facebook. And if you want to stay connected with my Ujokes podcast, then do not forget to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, at Postmaster Radio. You can also find the Ujokes podcast, Ujokes Weekly, on YouTube, Spreaker, and Spotify. All of the account links are in the description. Thanks for listening, and until next time, well, bye for now. See ya!